You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the former NHL hockey player Robert Rob Gargano. How are you doing today?
Great. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in playing in professional ice hockey?
Oh boy, that was a dream probably from when I was a real little kid. Skated for the first time at like 3.5 and really fell in love with it around that time. And there's always something that was, something that I obviously I think it was a dream is probably the best way to put it. And then as I got older and probably not until I was 17, 18 years old did it really become something that might be attainable. And even through my time at school, it was like, okay, I need to keep working for this. And I mean, until I was in my first training camp, it was, I knew it was something I wanted to do, but was it something I could do? And I was fortunate enough to make it happen.
What was that experience like for you playing college ice hockey at Yale?
It was awesome. It's corny, but it was the best 4 years of my life. It was so much fun, and we were able to win that thing back there. And my freshman year, and just the friendships and you know, uh, just the experience on and off the ice was about as ideal as I could have imagined. And having that degree isn't too bad of a thing either.
For you as a player, what was that experience like getting to win a championship in the Frozen Four?
Oh, it was the pinnacle of it. Another thing, like I didn't know if we could compete for that here, without scholarships, with our academic standards, you name it. There's a lot of things stacked against us, but the culmination of a lot of hard work and the right group coming together at the right time with a hot goalie, all of that kind of resulting in that. It was, you can't beat it. And it could be any championship in any sport like that. All the work that you put into it, it really feels worth it, when you're able to, and it's not always going to do that. Very rarely, only one team finishes the year with a win, most often, and being that team was really special.
For you, what was that experience like putting on your first college ice hockey jersey for Yale?
I mean, it's a great honor. The program, it's the oldest college hockey program. 1896 was the first team they put together. Like being a part of that history, and playing Division I college hockey at a place like this with that storied history, and being able to compete on a national stage, like it's such an honor and just a privilege at some point, and it felt good, frankly, on the selfish side of things to, feel like the hard work really resulted in something on and off the ice.
Coming out of college, what was that experience like getting drafted into the NHL and getting drafted by the Boston Bruins?
Again, that was a dream come true, this situation, and even now realizing that the draft is not meaningless, but it's also, hey, it's just the start and you really got to earn it from there. And I was actually still in high school when I got drafted. I was between my junior and senior years, at Milton Academy near Boston, and kind of being immersed in it. And they just won the Stanley Cup, and to be again like a part of an organization with such history, and being able to, play relatively in their backyard and be seen by them pretty often, like all of it, the situation was, I mean, it's again another dream come true, that, but really just a starting point in the journey to pro hockey.
Of course, for you, what was that feeling like, as you said, getting drafted when you were still in high school versus getting drafted after your college?
Yeah, it's I I I mean, in hindsight, it was almost a disadvantage because the time that, you finally turn pro, the organization has completely changed. And there's a lot of new faces and new guys, and really like new shiny toys that are in town and out of town. And honestly, being able to pick your spot as a college free agent, like a lot of these guys are doing right now, um, it's a benefit, frankly. But there's no discounting being a draft pick and being developed by a single organization. And I mean, they're class A, like they do it right, original six, so you name it, it's you know being able to also be in high school so close to um that, and just amongst Bruins fans, like all of that was very cool, and just it made it a unique experience for me.
What was that experience like for you going to play in the AHL team for the Boston Bruins, the Providence Bruins?
Providence was great. I was just talking to one of our guys about signing after our last game at school, and commuting back and forth for some seminars that I had to be at. But um, Providence was great. I made a lot of really close friends early in my career there, and kind of got to see the start to guys like Dan Heinen, Brandon Carlo, and Matt Grzelcyk, and these guys who have had such great careers, and um, really kind of going through those first steps with them. And we were really good my rookie year. We went to the Eastern Conference Finals. We had a really good group of veterans that set a great tone, like Tommy Cross and Alex Grant, like these guys that set a great tone for us. And um, not only made it, hey, like we're gonna win games, but we're also gonna have a lot of fun. And it was a great environment, and kind of being a tweener between the NHL, AHL, it's tough, but they made it. The guys there made it worthwhile.
For you, what was that feeling like putting on your first professional ice hockey jersey and representing Providence Bruins?
It was a whirlwind. I was actually supposed to be scratched, and then a guy got hurt. So I snuck in as basically the seventh D man, and um, all of a sudden I was playing in my first game, and yeah, a little bit of a deer in the headlights. It's a heavier, obviously more mature game. But start like it was. I think a whirlwind is the best way to describe it. I don't know. I can't imagine I played more than 10 minutes, and try not to make mistakes, get your feet wet, and ultimately it was really good experience leading into that following fall.
Of course, during that time, what was that transition like going from Boston Bruins organization to the New York Islanders?
Rangers. I grew up an Islander fan, but I ended up that was right around the trade deadline of my second year. There were rumblings because I at that point Boston was really good, and cracking that lineup was going to be tough. I was up and down. I was kind of the seventh, eighth guy, and um, New York was a place that they were kind of in a rebuild phase, and going there and being a part of at least those last I think 22 games that I got to play there. Um, that was incredible. Like that was a once in a lifetime experience. And we were supposed to be losing, but I think we went about 500 down the stretch, um, and it really did give me a shot at playing at the NHL level. And it was on me that following year for not grabbing it and running.
Of course, what was it like going to the AHL team for the St. Louis Blues and playing with the Rampages?
That was an interesting experience. I was off of back surgery. It was the first time I was really far away from home. Um, they and I wasn't in an NHL contract, so it was tough to get in. That was that it made it difficult. And living down in San Antonio was great. It was warm. It was beautiful. The city is really cool. The hockey side wasn't ideal, but that was part of the experience.
How was that experience like going to Springfield Thunderstorms and playing for the Florida Panthers organization?
Springfield was great because I had an opportunity to play again. So it was nice to kind of revive that love for the game and the hunger to get out there. And um, I ended up hurting the shoulder pretty bad. And the day that I was cleared to come back and play, the season was canceled for COVID. So timing wasn't great. But it was a fun stop because it was a good group of guys again. And again, being able to play again and kind of find that that energy and that love for the game it meant a lot to me.
Coming off of back surgeries and shoulder surgeries, what was that experience like when you did get a chance to play and went to Hershey bars?
Yeah, you going through that, you appreciate, I have my Instagram bio. It's every shift is a gift, and being able to get back out there and that Hershey stop, it was weird. Like there were no fans the first at least half of the year. It was right out of COVID. We probably played 33 games against three different teams. And that was it. Um, and I had a blast. It was I finally kind of let myself loose. Like, I could just play and enjoy it. I knew I was kind of close to the end of the line, but um, it was a really good team. It's a shame that we didn't have playoffs because we we had the best record in the league by a mile, um and it was a great group. And despite I was in a residence in the whole year, it was my wife wasn't there. Like I was missing my dog. It was just a weird situation, but I had a ton of fun at the rink. And that it was a great way to kind of end my playing career. It really was.
What was that experience like for you putting on that uniform for Hershey and representing Hershey?
Hershey was great. And like I said, that the fans maybe weren't packing the place to start, but there is a lot of passion in that town for their hockey team, and kind of seeing them have a ton of success these last few years out of COVID and that year that I was there, like winning the Calder Cup and being, I mean, I think they're tops in the league right now. It's um that's one AHL franchise that, the AHL franchise has changed a ton. That Hershey's been around there forever, and um again, another rich tradition, history, a place that cares about their hockey, and it was a lot of fun to be a Bear for a little bit.
Throughout your time playing professional hockey, what has it been like representing different organizations throughout your time?
Yeah, I mean, seven different teams in 5 years is a lot, I would say. Probably not atypical to a lot of guys' experiences, but um, every spot's different. The hockey world is small, so you end up running into guys. Like Joe Snively was on the Hershey Bears, and he played here at Yale with me. And Tommy Cross, that I mentioned, was in Providence. He was in Springfield when I was there, um, and you make these connections throughout, and it makes switching spots easier because now you have these connections already. And the hockey world is, I would say, 95% of people in it are great people. And you get to rub shoulders with them, and being a part of, I honestly I didn't get to play as much in the playoffs as I wished in my pro hockey career, but being a part of teams and getting to know guys and the stuff away from the rink, like it's almost as rewarding. And I certainly enjoyed my 5 years playing.
What has that feeling felt like, as you said, playing with some of those teammates that were playing with you at Yale that now you played with in professional ice hockey?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to watch them and their career and kind of root them on as they continue. And I mentioned Snives, but John Hayden, he was with me for 3 years here at school, and he's in the Seattle organization. Alex Lyon is pushing for a playoff spot in Detroit. He was our goalie for 3 years here. Billy Sweezy played his first NHL games last year, and he's in the Columbus organization. Like these are all guys that I was I mean, you think about why we had some really good teams. Like these guys have had great careers, and to have rubbed shoulders with them, to have pushed each other here, it kind of set the table for us to have some decent pro careers, and now watching them have success is it's a ton of fun.
Who are some of the most influential people in your career that have shaped you into the player you are today?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Elaine, Keith Elaine here at school, like who's now my boss, he took a chance on me when I was in my recruiting process, and he set a standard every day here. We had five or six different assistants run through during my 4 years, so there's a lot of turnover there, but he was always the constant. He believed in me, he pushed me, and really put me in a spot where I was ready to play pro hockey the moment our last game ended here. And I mean, you could do that at most places, but what I was able to do my 4 years here, I was ready. I was ready. And uh, in pro hockey, I was fortunate enough to rub shoulders with like Jay Leach was our head coach in Providence. My second year there, he was a D coach my first year. So we became very close, and he's out in Seattle now. He's in line for a head coaching job soon in the NHL. And Dan Muse, he's in the Rangers staff now. He was here at Yale with me for 3 years. Like he works his tail off. He doesn't have like a rich hockey background. Played D2 at Stonehill, I want to say, and really worked his way up, coached the NTP team, coached in Nashville. Like he's a guy that even especially on this side of things, like being a coach now, like he's someone that I look up to a lot. And I got to mention Spencer Carberry too. Like it's a great example to have those kind of guys around you.
What was it like getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
It always felt a little surreal, like it's like, oh, you want my autograph? And I don't know how much it's worth now, but it's always, it's flattering, and it's nice to be reminded that you have an influence on, the kids that are watching you, and you always want to be a good role model and be a good person and take care of those people that cheer you on and give you that support, because it's certainly important to make sure you do that.
What was that transition like for you going from playing professional ice hockey to getting into coaching and coming to Yale, your alma mater, to start your coaching career?
It happened very fast. I was still training to keep playing. And I reached out to our coach Elaine, who I mentioned earlier, and really asked like, hey, like I want to get into coaching after. Can we sit down and talk about it? And we sat down at a camp we were both supposed to be working at for like 4 hours, just catching up, talking hockey. And a couple weeks later, I got a phone call from him, and this is like mid late July, 2021. Yeah. And because he had an assistant leave, and he asked, hey, like, is this something you're serious about? And I said, absolutely. The body's kind of falling apart. If this is an opportunity I can get at this level to start at a place that means so much to me, I'm not going to say no. And sure enough, like a month later, I was through all the background checks and I was signed up to start playing. So the Band-Aid, it was really ripped off pretty quick. But I think that helped kind of ease out of the playing days. And coaching now, it really scratches the itch, the competitive nature. The guys want to be better. I want to be better. And it's a great environment that I mean, it's so similar to playing, obviously different in a lot of ways, but the transition was, I couldn't have asked for a better transition, frankly.
Of course, for you as a coach, and as a player, what was that experience like going back to your alma mater versus, let's say, you retire, go to a different program?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if I would have got this opportunity anywhere else, to be honest with you. Like having the connection with Coach Elaine and staying in touch with Keith, and because I mean, he works his tail off for the guys that are here, but once guys are gone, he's always a resource. He's talking to alumni all the time, and keeping that connection, alive and well was something that he emphasized as much as I did. And, you know, that opportunity only arises because of that. And, I think I brought some valuable experience from pro hockey, and I'm still learning through it every day here. But yeah, I don't think I get this opportunity anywhere else.
How have you been able to take what you've learned in pro hockey over to coaching college ice hockey?
I mean, it's an everyday thing, like, especially for the guys that are getting older and have pro hockey aspirations, making sure that they're doing what they need to do every day to push for that, and building the right skills, making the right reads. These are things that I think I'm pretty fresh out of it, so I know what they need to do to get there. And everyone's different too. Like I was coached differently than, the best coaches that I was around. knew that I needed something different than the guy next to me. And bringing that experience and understanding how guys tick, I think is something that I also learned through my time in pro hockey.
What advice would you give those players out there looking to play collegiate ice hockey?
I mean, everyone's treating it like the grass is greener now. Like I need to go to this team, I need to play in this place, I need to go play junior, I need to, and it's all fine and well, but a lot of kids get burned going places too early or leaving when they don't have to, or, I mean, for us here, like going into online school to play, on some AAA team somewhere, like that's, you know, it's not like that. And if you're good enough, you will be seen and you will be, found. And really what it comes down to is, are you in a place where you're happy? Are you in a place where you're comfortable? Are you in a place where you're getting the attention you need to get better every day? And I mean, that's 90% of the battle because people are going places they think they'll get that and they don't get it. Um, the grass is not always greener. You have to worry about you, right? But often, being in a place that you're comfortable in with people you're comfortable around is going to set you best up for success, not, moving somewhere and playing for some team. That I think it's something that kids do too often and it's not necessary.
What advice would you give those college hockey players out there looking to take the same path that you did and playing in professional ice hockey?
Oh, it's an everyday commitment. If that's what you want to do, you have to act like a pro as much as you know how. And if you don't know how, you can reach out to people that have done it and understand the standard that you have to live by. And, even for me, I think I bring an interesting perspective because I got there, but I didn't stay there. And understanding why I didn't stay there, and I think a lot of it was mental for me. Um, and, questioning myself when I got to that level, or never really feeling comfortable in my game at the NHL level. Like that was tough. And, understanding what kind of player you are and what it takes to kind of, I mean, play. They're playing 80 games. Like it's a ton of hockey and it's tough. And preparing yourself best for that, not only physically but mentally too, is what's going to get you there, but it's going to stick you there. That was the part I never got. So I think that's important.
What advice would you give those players such as yourself that was going through that retirement phase and transitioning into college coaching after playing?
I mean, obviously it worked for me, but I wanted to play one more year of hockey. I think I was healthy enough to play one more year of hockey. But in that time, I was proactive and I started to reach out to all the coaches that I knew and that was connected to and that I cared about and I thought cared about me, and getting not only just, hey, like I'm interested in this, but also understanding, hey, like, you know, what it takes and asking these guys, what's the day-to-day like? How did you get into it? Um, that was all very valuable for me. And this opportunity, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like it did fall into my lap. I got very lucky. Not many people are going to be able to have a path like this, but in the same breath, like I think being proactive, like I said, and making sure that people that, I had a lot of respect for knew this is what I wanted to do. I think it helped. And getting your name out there is not going to hurt, especially if, you're still either playing or you're doing something else, or even if you're at school. I think it's important to start reaching out, getting advice.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Um, Mainly Instagram. ROBOG15 at the old Instagram handle, and that's where you can find me.
Thank you again, Robert Ogar, for your interview and best luck in your future, wherever it may hold you in your college coaching career.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Rob, for your interview and best luck in your future.
Thanks, man.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media, and on YouTube.